Hi and welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Wednesday, the 1st of November. So beginning of the month now, and we can see that the dollar has kicked off as the strongest currency. A little bit of seasonal analysis actually shows that the US dollar is quite strong through the end of October into sort of mid-November. So maybe we're going to see this dollar strength sustained a little bit. You can see that the yen remains here as a weak currency as well. We had a little look at euro yen yesterday. Euro has faded away from the day traders table though, so maybe we'll take a look at pound yen as well. I might flick over to euro yen at some point. We can see that CAD is also here as a weak currency as well. But today is actually quite a big day in terms of data, especially in the US. If we go over to the live economic calendar for today, you can see you've already had some data out this morning. So 9:30, there was manufacturing PMI out of the UK. I was actually just waiting to see how price started to react to that. We have seen a little bit of a pullback, but nothing actually that I would suspect driven too much by this. I thought that we'd get a bigger move basically, and we haven't actually had that much of a move, especially against the currencies that are a little bit weaker. But we've got big data coming up this afternoon. 12:15, we've got ADP non-farm employment change. We also have US manufacturing PMIs coming out, as well as ISM manufacturing PMIs at 2. But then we have the Fed interest rate decision at 6 o'clock. So very big day in terms of the US, maybe a big day in terms of volatility, maybe positioning ahead of this move. So we'll be interested to see how that one obviously plays out. The US dollar obviously featured here as a strong currency going into today. So we're going to check out Aussie Swiss first. Obviously we're in Aussie Swiss. I've just moved stop loss to break even. I have discussed that in the Discord channel. Last night I moved stops up below these lows here around about 0 spot 57.32 I think it was, which gave us about a 10 pip stop loss here, which was actually a good decision in the end because we actually saw price dip slightly. If I just grab a pen tool, you can actually see that we're on the open here. We actually gapped all the way down, and I think if we had moved stops to break even at that point, we probably would have been taken out there, and then obviously prices moved higher. Now, only concern with this right now at the moment is if I go back to the tables, Aussie is at S3 and Swiss is at W1, so that's okay. What I don't want to see is Aussie really drift away from this area and move lower. I want to see Aussie actually start to gain a bit of strength here. We're not seeing that right now, so that's my only concern. The other concern I've got at the moment is that we try to breach these previous swing highs around the 0 spot 57.70 level, and we've rejected again. We came up, we tried it overnight, price fell away. We've then tried it this morning and had a bit of a bigger rejection. So that's not really what I see. I want to see price continuing to make higher highs. We are continuing to make higher lows for now, so that is technically a positive. And we are approaching the 50 MA here on this 30-minute time frame. So maybe we'll see price dip into this level here, maybe into these swing lows, and maybe we'll see a rejection and price comes back to the high. If it does do that at that point, I would be, looking to see again how does price react. I don't want to see another false breakout and then the 50 MA kind of through here, because that means I think we'll have a stronger prediction of price coming towards our break even. But we're at break even, so there's no risk open, there's no risk on the trade now, which is a good thing. I just want to see how price reacts. I don't want to give back all that profit, obviously, because we were up around about, I think it was 1.4 at some point in terms of reward. So don't want to give too much back. We're probably back under the 1-to-1 at the minute now. So yeah, I want to see price try and reject and push higher. If it can trade through these highs, then great. I still like the setup in terms of it being on the weekly chart. I'd like to see the weekly chart push higher, and close bullish here. I like the fact that we've still got the sort of divergence. We've got the K above D, and I like the idea of price still coming towards the 0 spot 59. So I think that from a higher time frame point of view is still good. My only concern, obviously, is like I said, is price can swing on its way to that point. You know, we could see a big move down to 0.57 before a move higher. Obviously, that would negate our trading setup here at the moment. I don't really like the sort of 4-hour time frame at the moment. That's not looking the greatest, but you know, we'll have to just see how this performs. You know, I think a retest down in here is possible, and hopefully we can get a rejection at these lows to see price continue to the upside. Let's go check out the other pairs of interest then. So one of those was pound yen. I've actually set an alert on pound yen at 183.86. I'm basically looking to see if price can break back above this 50 moving average. Reason why is because the daily chart formed a really strong close yesterday. We had a very aggressive move to the upside. I think that move there was 324 pips on its own, and we did show you yesterday in the Discord channel on the dashboard that the yen was gaining, it was weakening. Now we have closed above the 83.70 highs here, and I'm wondering if this momentum will continue. Now, usually after quite a large move in the market, the next day we don't typically see that move continue. Quite often we'll get a bit of a pullback day before seeing a move higher. So I'm not very optimistic of price closing above this 30 today and we're getting an entry, but I have set an alert there just in case we do. Is this the most ideal area to look for a long? Probably not. Obviously I would prefer to be long down in at lows, but we don't have the luxury of that here at this current moment in time. So I'm just going to watch it. We're putting an alert. If we do get that 30-minute setup, it could be an idea to try and see if that momentum will continue to push us back to the upside there. Going on to the other chart of interest then. So another one was obviously dollar yen, dollar CAD. Dollar yen weekly looking very bullish at the moment. Again, similar to pound yen, daily close quite aggressively higher. The only thing here is, again, we've got that sort of 30-minute base going on right now, which, okay, is good. We're looking at the potential for it to close higher. My concern with dollar yen over pound yen today is the fact that we've got high impact data coming out this afternoon. So we're probably more likely to be influenced here if we were in a position, whereas obviously pound yen would be less likely to be influenced by that potential move. So that's my other sort of concern about any kind of dollar pairs. It's like I was looking at dollar CAD, you know, we're still above 1.3750, but we're in this 139 zone, which was those highs that formed back in October of 2022. And I just don't, although, you know, I've been sort of not necessarily wrong in the market, but we've been very cautious about getting long in this market, and we, you know, there were still kind of advantages of getting longs above the 50. It's just that this level of resistance really did put me off getting into another position, but we did miss out on a couple of moves. I must be, you know, admit that I've missed a couple of moves here to the upside. So, but yeah, I don't really like the idea of being long into such an aggressive level of resistance, even if price does rally spike into it. Yeah, I'm not comfortable getting long there. Pound CAD, another one that is on the list. Let me just revert back to the table so you can see it. Pound CAD just in there. You know, that's telling us to potentially be long as well. And you know, I'm looking at this, we've breached trendline support. We've kind of come from these lows at the 1.6425. 1.73, something I quite like as potential targets. We do have a bit of a zone in here and these weekly lows at 1.6925, however. So yeah, just again kind of trying to watch to see if price can breach and continue higher. Daily chart is still fairly bullish, which is good. Stochastic very much in that bullish zone. The 8-hour time frame again also very bullish. And I've just kind of stepped down to see if there's any kind of advantage to looking at any kind of long moves here. A little bit different to the other markets. We are kind of just finding a bit of a base resistance there. And we are getting higher lows though, which is good. But I prefer maybe a bit of a move on the hourly. You can kind of see this area down in here, around about the 1.6810. Quite like the idea of maybe price coming down to there and finding support. So yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to be watching. But in terms of positions, I think actually pound yen is the sort of most favorable one. Although we've got this kind of change of trend potentially forming here, if we were to get back above that sort of 50 MA, I would be looking to potentially look for a sort of a breakout there and a push back to the upside at this point because of that sort of daily close. So although, you know, again, a bit of that pullback, I still quite like the idea of yen weakness. I still quite like the idea of looking for a potential long forming in this particular market. But yeah, Aussie Swiss we're still in at the moment, so we'll see if we can obviously push a little bit to the upside. There is obviously maybe a larger time frame play in play here. We do have this sort of larger time frame trend line running through here, which price is kind of approaching at the moment. You can see we've rejected it once in here, rejected it as well here back in the 29th of September, and we are approaching that again. So there could be sort of a possibility that there's a potential resistance there. We're also at a sort of level of resistance just in terms of those highs, aren't we? So yeah, it's a tough one, this one. I'd like to see price try and trade through it. At the moment, the table's still sort of on our side in terms of looking at the fact that Aussie is S3 and Swiss is W1. So I still feel like we've got that inside. Let me just refresh to see if Aussie has left the tables or not. I think as long as we still get the at least one. Okay, so Aussie has left the tables. New Zealand starting to creep in on here now. So that's a little bit disappointing, but I think at least we've got one in the W1 zone. It could be something to definitely look out for here. So yeah, I'm going to be taking a look at pound yen. I'm going to be having a little look at pound CAD as well. We'll see if we can get any kind of opportunities on those markets. I'll keep you updated on Aussie Swiss to see if any kind of developments here. We're at break even now, so that's the only positive we can really take from this this current moment in time. If we see a rejection, then great. I'll alert you if we get back into these highs. I'm actually going to set another alert just to see if we do get back to them. And I'll set an alert below this low, because if we don't reject this low, we might as well just bank a little bit of profit. So I will leave it there. Like I said, pound yen I still feel potential one to watch. So we'll see if there's any opportunities to kind of look for any more longs. I'll keep you updated on the Discord channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon.